Calvary Baptist Church under the leadership of Reverend Earl Jones Sr. And it feels good to be home.
Right.
My first home, and seeing my family, Reverend Dr. Walter P. Olson Jr., First Lady, and it's just good to be here. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a high school teacher, and yeah, that's all I have for right now. That's it.
Amen.
Hi everybody, I'm Vanessa Fuller. I also got my start here at Metropolitan Baptist Church. I think I was baptized when I was 14 or 15 years old here. I currently reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I attend Heart of Worship Restoration Center under the leadership of Pastor Kevin Maurice Aiken. I am excited to be here, glad to be here. Every now and again, as I've grown on my Christian walk, I can remember certain things that I heard in this space, and I know now what those words meant that I didn't understand then.
Amen.
Right? So God is definitely a mover and a shaker and a grower of things. So I'm excited to see what happens in this room today.
What are some of the standards that you feel are implemented that may not necessarily be true about when guys leave the home versus when ladies leave the home?
Okay, all right. So lately I've been, walking in my neighborhood, traveling, and I've been watching students, kids, right? And there's a certainty about the young girls, right? And they're walking, and you have an idea that these young ladies know where they're going. They know that they have to get an education, and that's the least that they know, that they have to be successful, right? And young men seem to have this idea about themselves that they have to know what to do with their bodies. Right, and as you date, right, you get to know people, or not as you date, because I've had dates where guys want to put their arms around me, like, bro, you just met me, you don't know me, that's inappropriate. They're learning to communicate with their bodies first, right? And so the standard becomes, if I can get a woman, if I can be physical with a woman, my manhood is resting in that. That is something that we have to break a cycle about, and that comes with the idea that men need to kind of. Personally, I believe in a relationship with Christ first, right? Having that godliness, that God-centeredness first, and finding their purpose and their work first, and then going out to find some young lady to help you mature that vision. That's what I personally believe, right? But that idea, and then women, these young girls are falling into our footsteps, right? Of being possibly single for a long time because the men are unfit. Right, because I'm not settling. I'm not settling, right? And so they absolutely not, right? So the young ladies they're finding their identity in their schoolwork, in their jobs or careers and things like that. Not to say that they shouldn't be entrepreneurs or ministers, not to say that at all. But when I look at the standards or when I see what's happening, that's the dichotomy, that's the dynamic that I'm seeing these days. Right. Absolutely.
I feel like as ladies we're always taught, do this, be a lady, do not sit this way.
And we're given so many expectations so people won't perceive us as something, or dress the way you want to be addressed. So we do these things, but I wonder, is this being reciprocated with the guys?
Okay.
No.
Is it?
Is it? Because, for example, as an educator, I noticed with some of my males, my students, they're so aggressive with the females, and the ladies allow them to.
They allow them to.
Allow them to be aggressive. So they think it's okay for them to call them out of their name.
Wow.
And the B word or something like that. And I'm in the hallway whoa!
Right.
You do not do that. So I think that it needs, if the women are being instilled, do this or do that, I think it should be instilled in the guys as well.
Wow.
I think, for me personally, my mom, because I did move to New York, I stayed in New York for a while, and I'm back home with mom. Hi, mom. Right? And we thought about it. We was maybe we should wait. The idea we settled on was to wait for me to marry out of the household, right? To get married and then leave. But now we're sitting there, things are kind of stable, things are cool, and I'm like, Mommy, maybe I'll just leave. Maybe I'll go, because when we think about the butting of the heads or things like that, a lot of things is not that serious. Sometimes you can get over a little hump or things. Dishes in the sink is not the reason to move out the house. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's too much friction over the wrong things, and that drives us apart, and we leave prematurely, right? I don't believe in the whole as soon as you're 18 get out the house thing. I don't know. I think we were kind of fed that somewhere. I don't want to say which America, but it wasn't necessarily Black America that taught us that 18 is the time to leave the house. I thought it was, but that's not true. And in terms of being in terms of race relations, right, there's some ethnicities and some races that are allowed to stay in the house a little longer and understood that they get that financial literacy and they're not expected to pay bills and carry the weight in the house. And then they can say, okay, well, now that I got this great job, I'm going to move out and I'm going to leave. But in a lot of African American or people in households of color, right, we are expected to carry some of that load because we are already being disenfranchised, right? And it's hard for us to say, I'm going to leave. I want to. Sometimes we want to leave. It's not that we don't know how to pay our bills or we won't pay our bills on time, but right now we haven't been able to save, right? We will, every time we get the money, it's going towards the rent, right? It's going towards these bills and that bills, or right. So like in some of my personal household situations, that's something that comes up every now and again, right? So I think it might take. I think for parents of millennials, right, it might take some entrepreneurship. If you're broke now and you're working that job, you might as well take that risk, right? I'm just putting it out there. Take that risk, that entrepreneur risk, and start your business, right? Suffer a little bit longer and do that thing because the worst part about being broke is being sick and broke, right? So you're working this 9 to 5, this job, and it's breaking you down, and you're still not making ends meet, but you want to start your daycare, or you want to start this homeless shelter, or you want to start this bookstore, or you want to start this thing. God is giving you that green light because it's going to hurt one way or the other. And your children are not going to get that financial freedom because for a long time they're going to be helping because it's in us to help. It's in us to provide. But I think that's that crippling stage that we get into because we've inherited that thing. So I something I've been recently kind of praying about and seeking the Lord on, and to try to get some revelation and some understanding about why this is the way it is in a lot of our community and a lot of our homes. When we're disenfranchised or we might be poor. So if you can stick it out, stick it out. But sometimes you don't leave because there's dishes in the sink. If it's an abusive household, maybe that's a different story. But don't let the dishes in the sink make you decide, I can't stay with mommy no more. Then you go out and be broken. It's actually, yeah.
No, I think when it comes to that kind of dynamic, leaving home, I think it kind of differs from a male to a female. Females, when they leave home, it seems like they know what they want when they leave home. Men, we don't have a clue. Most men that leave home, we leave home and end up being like a prodigal child.
Amen.
We end up having to go back to mommy and daddy. And 9 times out of 10, we've took somebody's daughter, messed her up, and end up bringing her back home to mommy and daddy with the kid. I can say that because I know I did it.
He's thinking.
So I mean, them dynamics is really, really different. From a male perspective, when you don't want to follow the rules in your parents' house, well, it's time for you to go.
Amen.
It's time for you to leave, and I guess that would be male and female. But usually, when a woman decides, look, mommy, daddy, I'm ready to leave home, she has it planned out. She's sat down, she's thought about it, she's pondered over it, and she leaves with a good grace. We leave and we come back every time. Look. The first question was like, what was the thing holding you back when you wanted to leave? Nothing held me back. When I told my daddy I was ready to leave, he had the bag packed. I went home, my mama, can I come home? No, the bag was packed. There was nothing holding me back, but you know something? I think they kind of knew he ain't ready. He'll be back. He'll be back.
I think sometimes, a lot of times we do a disservice to our young men because we have this idea, there's that silently he'll be back, but we don't cultivate them, we don't cultivate their gifts and because sometimes a lot of men they're artsy, right? They're creative and things like that. Those are things that are shunned in young men and things like that. When they could be the next Picasso or the next Beethoven or whatever the case may be, they're shunned in those areas that they should be cultivated in. So give that young man an idea of what his work is and what his gifting is, so that he can take his vision and leave. You're not leaving my house until you got a vision.